Hi, my name is Sandra Davis. I'm a math instructor at the Newberry campus of Piedmont Technical College, and I have enjoyed the 5 years that I have worked for Piedmont Tech. I'm honored to be nominated for the Adjunct Excellence in Teaching Award. I am committed to helping all students achieve academic success and one day become proud Piedmont Technical College graduates. I would like to share a few of the strategies that I use to help students both inside and outside the classroom. One strategy that I use is to individualize instruction. I use mnemonic devices and relate concepts to real-world situations. An example of this is when I teach the order of operations. I use PEMDAS. This is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, is what we always heard it called. Well, I teach my students to create their own mnemonic because sometimes this one's a little bit harder for them to remember. So other ones that have been used since then that students have created is Princess Ella must date a mark. Another one that a student created was pink elephants may dance after sunset. Now, this is just one of the strategies, and they can make it something that's more easy for them to remember. Another strategy that I use is when I'm teaching the slope. When calculating the slope for 2 points of a line, students often get confused with which direction to count first. And I remind them that slope is the rise over the run. And the rise is represented by this direction, run this direction. So I remind them that every morning you have to rise out of bed, get up, to take your morning run. This helps them personalize this. Okay? Another strategy, the third strategy, that is successful is when I teach negative exponents. I relate negative exponents to the captain of a ship. Well, when we have numbers with negative exponents, such as to the negative 2, y2 over c squared, I remind them that this negative here, this is like the captain of a ship. Now, it's the captain's responsibility and his crew members at times, if they have some sort of mishap or accident, it's their responsibility to get the crew members out into the lifeboat. And if there's not enough room in the lifeboats, then they end up going this negative, he ends up going down with the ship. So this is the lifeboat here. This is a passenger that got in the lifeboat. This one stays here. And this is the captain, and he has to go down with the ship. So then that would be the x squared on the bottom as well. So this captain, he had a negative in here. He was the captain. He had to go to the other side of the fraction boat. And that's a helpful way to relate it so that students understand. So that going down with the ship, they tend to remember that. Okay. That was one more. That was the third strategy. Another strategy, the fourth one, is when I teach unions and intersections. Now, most students are familiar with the Brady Bunch or blended family. So I relate to them that when Mike and Carol, or mom and dad in this case, if they don't understand, we draw this with the Venn diagram. Okay? This was Mike and his 3 boys, right? And he had Greg, Peter, and Bob. So the one day when he met this lady named Carol, who had 3 girls of her own, that was Marcia, Jan, and Cindy. Now they married and they became a family. Now they're all a family. That's with the union of marriage, they're all a part of a family. Also, after they married, we have to convert this to a modern day family because they didn't have any children together. So in our family, they're going to have Linus and Lucy here. Okay, we have Linus and Lucy. Those are two children they had after they were married. So then now we can explain the intersection of the children that they had together. This was the children in common, Linus and Lucy, and that is your intersection. Now, works the same way whether you use Mike and Carol Brady or whether you say a man met a woman, they had children, they married, became a family. Then they had two more children. They still understand this concept. This is something that is a realistic concept in everyday life to most of our students. Okay, even if they are not a blended family, they usually know people that are a blended family. So it helps them understand the concept a little bit better. So that's the fourth way that another strategy that I happen to use. Now, one more strategy that I'll mention is when I teach the subtraction of integers. Now, students get confused a lot of times. They say, well, we have rules for addition, for subtraction. We have all these things. How do I know what is what? And they get it confused. So what I teach them is to change a subtraction into an addition. So if we have -2 minus 3, I teach them KCC, which is KCC. That's keep, change, and change. Okay? And what that means is we're going to keep the first number. That's the -2. We're going to change the sign in the middle. That's the operation. Subtraction becomes an addition. And then we change the sign of the 3, and that becomes a -3. So we have done the keep, change, change. Now we're using the addition rules, which means we have two numbers that have the same sign, and we're adding them. So we're going to put them together. So that's -2 plus -3 gives us -5. And that simplifies and helps them relate to it a little bit better. Okay, so now I've shared with you 5 strategies that I do use, among others, in my classroom. Not only do these strategies engage students and help with content mastery, but most importantly, learning is authentic and applicable to the real world. In the 3 years that I've used these strategies, I've seen at least an 80% passage rate with these students that have used these. I hope to continue to promote excellence in teaching and learning to ensure that each student and employee has the opportunity to attain his or her fullest potential.